Well, good morning, y'all. It's Monday. Well, welcome back. So, it's Monday and it's a big planting week. So, I didn't do very much more planting last week, but today we're going to take a little tour, and then I'm going to show you and remind you of all the seeds that we can plant here in the low desert this week, because today's the 12th and the 15th is just in a couple days. So, but there's some key things in there that if we don't get them in just right about on the 15th, it's kind of like you got to wait till next year to get that going. So I'm going to remind you about that. I'm going to show you all the seeds that I'm going to be sowing into the garden over the next couple weeks. Some I'm going to set up as seedlings so that I can succession plant, but with transplants, because a lot of the things that we can plant this week, we can still plant for another month or two, but we can't plant them again just as seeds directly sown into the garden. So let's check out the tour, let's check out the seeds, and then we'll catch back up in a minute. Okay, we're going to start out over here at bed 1, and you can see we've got some carrots coming in from our planting last week. So we're going to have to come in and thin those out. I've only got one lone bean coming up along here in the beans that I planted, but we can still plant more beans, so I'll get some of that going. Back here in the back, I can't remember, I've got a couple of squashes, and so there's one there, and then I'll show you there's one over there. This is opening up and starting to be happier. This one is starting to open up and get ready to make flowers, and these two, I'm surprised, don't have flowers this morning, but you can see one that just bloomed this weekend and one that's about to come out right there. So the okra is about to pop back up. Here's this other little baby. Now, I don't want to have a big fight like I did with the cantaloupe, so I'm definitely going to come in and thin these out. Here's this one just kind of still hanging on, but it doesn't look terrible, so we'll let it keep going. This past week with school starting, I really let the mint get ahead of me, so it's making a lot of flowers. It's time for me to come out here and snip all these off, and I saw it yesterday, but I wanted y'all to be able to see it. And I've been taking these flowers and sticking them in a mason jar full of water, and then it's kind of like what I think is super concentrate of mint. So I put them in the jar, and then if I need to kick up my tea or something, then I can just pour some of that concentrated mint in there from the flowers, and it tastes super good. This oregano, I can't get over how different it looks now. It's got bigger leaves and it looks just so much happier, so I'm so glad that I got that trimmed. The tomatoes are still just kind of hanging on. The sun is shifted and this area here gets more shade, so kind of bringing that out here as a tester to see how it will do. I need to get these babies moved around to some final location. This tomato's okay. This is a Armenian that comes from all the way over here, and there's a part of it. These are the two blue Hubbards that we planted last week, looking great. This is one of the squashes that we planted a while ago, but it wasn't looking that happy, and now it is, so that's good. And the loofah is finally starting to climb, and this is looking decent. So all in all, bed 2 is starting to perk up, and as you can see, I've taken down on almost all the shade cloth because the sun is shifted and this bed is now getting back to where it gets its shade. The Cosmos kind of fell over, so I got it leaning and tied up to here. This pumpkin is looking really happy and super excited to see this zinnia come out for us. And these two pumpkins are looking okay. These two are, I moved them out this way to get a little bit more morning sun because they've just been over here hiding for a long time, and I'm ready for them to start stimulating some new growth. And it looks like there might be some new flowers in there, so maybe it's ready to wake back up. These beans never really have done a whole lot, but they're there and they're surviving, so maybe things will eventually get producing for them. Well, this bed is, I almost came in here this weekend and just totally ripped out this squash because I was like, you know, there's other things I could plant. But what I did instead is, instead of having it running all that way, I took everything that I just took it and spread it out so that it vines out into the yard now instead of just taking over the bed. And if you remember, this is the pepper that you know, one of the worms got. Then I just tore it completely apart and now it looks awesome, and this one's slowly getting there. And I'm probably going to do some pruning on this tomato, but let's face it, it made it through the summer and it deserves a chance. So, and you can see we've only got a little bit of shade here because I think this Aussie bean right here really kind of likes the shade a little bit. But here's a happy watermelon, look, and plenty of babies. So I'm really excited about this bed over here. And here's my okra here, and you can see this butternut is just covered in flowers. I should probably come out here and get some male pollen because hopefully we're going to open back up and start getting some females. And there's a watermelon in there. And another thing I'm really stoked about is when I came over here to, you know, make some big changes, I realized that there's more going on than I thought. Like this right here is our median that I never even knew was growing this good, but it is. And then over here, these are two cantaloupe that I've got coming out that are doing good. And then this is like a whole swash of Aussie beans. And like I said, everything is getting happier. So I'm just gonna keep letting this vine out over here instead of taking up the bed so that I can use some space in the bed to start planting some of the August 15 crops. I can't tell you how fun it is finding things that have just been hiding out all summer, like this Aussie bean. But I'm super pumped because I think it's just gonna go wild now, you know. And this is a little collared seedling that I've been kind of letting stick around because it's about time for that. But I'm ready to start planting in here. Coming over here, like I said, I'm opening everything up, and I think it's time for things to just really go wild. So here's the sweet potatoes, and they are starting to really get to vining out, and that's fine. I want everything to start doing life, you know, so yay to that. And a couple of the girls' pumpkins that they planted are coming up, and we've got to make a decision about these. Like this one, in my opinion, needs to go. This is the stronger one, and down here it's either going to be this one that needs to stay or this one, but this one needs to go. And then a couple of Joe's little babies are coming in down here at the bottom. But there are our pumpkins. Alright, so now let's chat about what's going on this week, because it's like the 12th today. So these are all of the things that I'm working to get into the garden this week. So I didn't have any success with any of my green beans coming up, so I'm going to plant some more of those this week. And then of the last round of summer things, I've got an early prolific straight neck, a dark green zucchini, some collards. I'm gonna and I'm trying to use my Great American Seed Up seeds just to see if I can get a better success, because also the cucumber, because I haven't had good success with these three, and so I want to see if sticking to the seeds that, you know, are focused on the low desert will give me better results. And then I've got a free cabbage that I got from a seed order from Baker Creek. These are all things that I got from the library. They're Swiss chard, placenta kale, and some kohlrabi. Some more kale over there. I want to do a lot of spinach this year, probably more than any other lettuce. But I do have also broccoli, the Calabrese sprouting broccoli, some cauliflower, and then romaine, red and green, and then mustard greens and some more cabbages down here. So that's kind of what I'm working from this week. I've also, of course, we can continue to put in a bunch of carrots, so I'm kind of sprinkling those in. Some of these seeds I think I'm going to be soaking, you know, here in my coffee filter. So I'll just drop the seeds in there and then mist it down and put it in a Ziploc bag and put it out on the patio, just to give them a little opening maybe. But a lot of these I think I'm just going to kind of be direct plugging into the garden. And that kind of brings us to the plan that I'm working from right now. This is, you know, bed 1, and the okra is covering a lot of things right now, but I'm trying to make some decisions about, am I going to go fill in here heavy with kale, maybe some spinach. Everything is doing well in this bed. I've got a couple of openings, and over here is the bed where we've got this butternut that goes all the way that way and all the way this way. So I really think that this bed 3 is going to end up being mostly my salad and my greens bed, because in my kiddie pool right now I've got the sweet potatoes going, so I need a new home for my lettuces. So this is just kind of a little bit of my mindset of what I'm going on, and I'm going to keep trying to plug some beans over here, and I might put some along here too, because it's not quite time for like peas, snow peas and sweet peas and stuff like that, which I would probably put along here and some on this trellis right here. But this is what I've got going on this week. Just trying to get a little bit in every day, that way I don't miss, especially with these guys, with the last chance on some summer things. And if you see, like, these are like 55 days, so that's why we can get another round of these in. But that's what I'm working on. So tell me in the comments what kind of seeds you've got going on right now. Well, I hope that you enjoyed the tour, and I hope that you've got all your seeds ready or about ready to get going for that planting. And one thing I want to remind you is, if you remember from the tour, almost all of my shade cloth has been taken off of my beds. I've just got this one little piece of lace that's still up here on this bed behind me. But otherwise, I think now is a key time for you to take the time to really take notice of where the sun is at in your yard, because I know that the sun has shifted in my yard considerably. A month ago at this time of the morning at 9, I could not be over here. The sun would have already gotten over here. So because of that, because the sun has shifted and it's starting to move more into the way that the sun will be setting for the fall and the winter, I definitely encourage you to go out there and take a look. And maybe if you work during the day, during the week, then maybe on a Saturday or Sunday, just kind of every couple of hours come out and check and see where is the sun setting, what's the sun hitting right now. That way, if you've got some shade cloth, you can go ahead and pull it off, because I know in bed 2 for me, that since I took off that shade cloth, everything in there has gotten into a growth pattern again, and that's exciting. So we're starting to see a lot of things come back, and I think this is time we kind of slowly start moving things back out into the sunny kind of quasi-shady areas of our yard. Well, as always, we want to thank you so much for checking in with us whenever you get a chance, and we want to wish you the best day ever and happy planting for the fall. And until next time.